We can please call the roll and bring the meeting to order.
Cardenas, Garcetti, Gruel, Han, Labange, Ludlow, Miskowski, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Smith, Villaraigosa, Weinstein, Padilla, 10 members present, and a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, we have a quorum. If we can please approve the minutes from last meeting. Mr. Labange moves, Mr. Smith seconds.
And commendatory resolutions for approval.
Okay, Mr. Zine moves, and Ms. Perry seconds.
Mr. President, this is the time for comments from the public on items not on council's agenda.
Okay, now is the time for public comment. We'd like to invite the speakers to come forward. Bienvenidos.
Buenos días, señor presidente municipal.
Good morning,
y los
Mr. President
concejales.
and council
Hemos
people.
venido más a pedirle, por favor, denlo en la mano derecha, porque
We have to,
deseamos estas tierras para trabajarlas como campesinos que somos y campesinas. Todas estas personas son puros campesinos y campesinas. Y queremos
we have to come to ask you for the land because all these people behind me, we are farm workers and we deserve this land.
campesinos trabajan para que haya producción en todos los países del mundo.
Or better said, the farm workers work so that there's food for
Por
all the
eso,
countries
señor
in the world.
presidente.
That's why, Mr. President.
Ahora, vuelvo a repetirles que esos niños que tuvieron hace como unos 8 días detrás de nosotros, que le den estudio.
That's why I'm repeating the children that were behind us
¿Qué
about 8 days ago.
prefieren? Que esos niños salgan a la calle para hacer cosas que no deben de hacer.
What do you prefer? Farmers,
Nosotros nomás les pedimos ayuda
we're only asking you for help
para quedarnos en ese terreno
to stay in that land,
que sentimos que ya es nuestro
that we feel that it's already ours
porque ya tiempo lo trabajamos
because we worked it for a long time.
y creemos que a nadie molestamos
And we believe that we don't bother anybody.
porque allí nomás sembramos frutas, verduras y hierba para alimentarnos.
And we only plant fruits, vegetables, and fruits to feed ourselves.
Para que ni-
Mi nombre es Valentín Díaz.
My name is Valentin
representando a los
Diaz,
campesinos de la Sur Central.
representing the farmers of South Central.
Nada más estamos aquí para seguirles pidiendo su ayuda
We're only here to keep asking you for your
y
help
pedirles espacios y campos verdes
and to ask you for spaces
Para
and green
nuestras familias,
spaces for our
para
families,
nosotros los
for our-
mayores, para los que estamos esperando un pedazo de tierra
for the ones that are waiting for a piece of
y
land,
tener
and to have
provecho de ella.
The doors are open for everybody to come and visit, to tour, to taste the food that is grown on a daily basis. Food that nourishes the city of Los Angeles. The doors are open. You will see for yourself the beauty and the power of growing your own food. Again, aquí estamos y no nos vamos. Tierra y Libertad.
Thank you very much. Gracias por su testimonio.
To work and support their family and not get on child support, and their parents are trying to take care of their children, and not parents coming up against their kids and now running in and out of court and not taking on the responsibility of their family. So I'm much concerned if you would please, President Eric Cassetti, do not let these people land be taken, nor their food, nor their tomatoes. Well, this is not marketing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hawkins. This closes our public comment period. Thank you to all who came down and give testimony today. If we can please run through the regular agenda.
On the regular agenda, Mr. President, item number 1 is an item noticed for public hearing. The department is recommending that that matter be received and filed inasmuch as the assessment has been paid.
Okay, if there's no objection, let's receive and file that. Next items?
Next items 2 through 5 are also public hearing items. They're building and safety confirmations of assessments. On item number 3, a partial payment has been made and $5,936.
Period open and closed. If you can please open the roll on the item, close the roll and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. If we can send that forthwith, please. Next set of items?
Items 7 through 19 are items for which public hearings have been held.
Okay. We have a public comment card for number 7, but it would require a motion to open that. If there's none, any other specials, colleagues? Mr. Zine calls 17 special. Any other specials, colleagues? Items 7 through 16 and
required for consideration.
okay. Colleagues, any specials 20 through 43? Any special items? Ms. Gruhl? Item
20 and 21, please.
Okay, items 20 and 21. Thank you, Ms. Gruhl.
And, Mr. President, on item number 25, there should be a technical amendment. Some wording needs to be added where the appropriation will be from, and that would be from the West LA Transportation Improvement and Mitigation Fund.
Okay, and that's been circulated?
42 forthwith.
42 forthwith. Next set of items?
Next items, Mr. President, 44 through 49 are the closed sessions. Do you wish to hold those on the desk?
Yes, let's hold those on the desk, please.
Then going to the continued agenda, item number 50 is an item notice for public hearing. It's a public convenience or necessity in Council District 2.
Okay,
I'd like to move approval.
okay. There's no cards on this, so we will consider the public comment period open and closed. Ms. Gruhl moves approval on the item, seconded by Mr. Smith. If we can open the roll. Please close the roll and tabulate. Item 17 is before us.
Thank you. The item deals with security at our animal services facilities, and I'd like to offer an amendment. While I heard this in committee, had some concerns about the expenditure and want to utilize our ITA personnel, if at all possible. So my friendly amendment would be to instruct ITA to report back on the feasibility of city staff completing the security system work out. Appropriate time to have this reviewed and have IT, if they can accommodate, put the installation of surveillance equipment, video equipment to enhance the safety of the employees, the animals, the volunteers for the facilities. So that would be the request, Mr. President.
There's no objection to that. We'll incorporate that in. Anybody else wishing to be heard on item 17? If not, let us open the roll on the item. Please close the roll and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That item is approved. Thank you, Mr. Zine. Next item, please.
Item number 20 was called
the current Bush administration that these vouchers that provide families homes, these vouchers that provide individuals an opportunity to not only work but have a place in which to live. So I think that we want to make sure that the administration and the Department of Housing and Urban Development understand that their proposals to cut the number of Section 8 vouchers and the rulings that they have on the technicalities and if we don't act now, it will impact the city of Los Angeles in a tremendous manner. So I hope that we will all today adopt this, both 20 and 21, which is relative to the Section 8 program, and want to thank Mr. Garcetti and Mr. Reyes for their leadership on this item, and the mayor who participated as well in our press conference a week or two ago, and Ms. Hahn, who was there, and Mr. Cardenas. So just want to highlight that for those just wanted to stand up today and highlight that as well, and to thank, again, Mr. Garcetti and Reyes for the leadership on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gruhl. Mr. Garcetti.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you, Ms. Gruhl, for your leadership. It's great to have a champion on this council who has not only worked locally on issues, but has also worked for the Housing and Urban Development Department as well. And I want to thank Mr. Reyes, Ms. Hahn, our Mayor Jim Hahn, Mr. Cardenas, this entire council for really standing up and being heard on this issue. Of the withdrawal of Section 8 vouchers, one of the best tools and best proven programs to fight poverty in this country through federal action. Instead of the federal government coming to our aid in a disaster, which we know they would, they're actually behind this disaster. Now, what makes this even more complicated is Republicans and Democrats in Congress alike agree that this is a good program and appropriated the proper funding for it this year. But the Bush administration's spending plan takes away that money from what Congress has actually approved. And we have to be heard on this, colleagues. There is a voice that is going out throughout this country in many of municipalities saying that these housing vouchers are critical, and we need the Bush administration to change both their policy of how they're administered, as well as the amount of funding that this Congress, Republican and Democrat alike, approved for these programs. So thank you, colleagues, for your strong support. I urge you to continue contacting Washington. This has shamed, I read an article that it said that the Bush administration and some members of Congress are saying, we already approved this.
Councilmember Hahn. Councilmember Hahn, yes, please go.
Okay, thank you, Sylvia. Mr. President, members, I really do want to stand and also add my voice to how serious this issue is, and really want to thank Councilmember Gruhl, Councilmember Garcetti, and certainly the mayor on us really having our voice heard on this issue. I have let's make sure that that's not the one that was supposed to come from the government. And again, it is shameful, and it's shameful for a country who pretends to have a policy of no child left behind. And this policy would leave children, women, families behind and on the streets without decent, affordable housing. So I'm proud of us for being united on this and having our voice heard.
every member of the committee that really has joined together to take this issue on. Both council members Hahn and Garcetti said it very well. We had testimony in the committee that was quite chilling, hearing people talk about the fact that they were ready to secure a deal on an apartment just to find out that their vouchers were not going to be accepted, that they actually were worthless because the money backing them had been repealed. Section 8 list, standing in lines, waiting for their opportunity to be heard, filling out the applications, submitting all the appropriate documentation, going back down to stand in more lines, then getting put on waiting lists. Once they get on the waiting list, their number finally comes up after months and months of waiting. Many of these people living on the streets with their children. Then that moment comes to pass where they get that call and it's time for them to go ahead and secure an apartment. They then go out and begin to search for an apartment, which many of us have message to the Bush administration. We need to send a message to Washington. Our federal delegation needs to understand that there are families who are being held hostage in our own cities because they don't have the ability to get a home. And they've played by the rules. They've done what we've asked them to do. Now we need the Bush administration, we need the federal government to step up and make sure that not only these vouchers are good, but we need to expand the program to reach the tens of thousands that couldn't even participate in this program because there wasn't funding available. They are dealing with a very low amount of money, and they're dealing with a very difficult moment in terms of what they've been handled. I think they're really stepping up and trying to make the best situation out of a bad one. And the best thing that we can do today, colleagues, is step up, give them a sort of a legislative tool to try to make their fight a little bit more winnable. And so I proudly stand behind this measure, and I thank our council chair, our council committee chair, Eric Garcetti, and all the members of the Housing, Community, and Economic Development Committee for doing the right thing on this, and obviously encourage an aye vote. Thank you.
Homeowners who found themselves with nowhere to live. The floods, the same thing. What's frustrating to me about this particular action is that the disaster is being caused by an act of a president who doesn't seem to understand that type of pain. But those of us who've been in council, who looks at these issues, and we responded in a manner that it's not functional anymore. We're going to have people who are silently going to be asked to leave their apartments, who are suddenly going to be asked to fade into the dark with no option. And they will be in the thousands in Los Angeles, let alone the millions throughout the country. So that is, for me, the most frustrating part, is that the same angst, the same pain, the same uncertainty that these folks will feel, the same feeling. Disaster. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Reyes. Since we're taking 20 and 21 together, I'd like to call in public comment Ms. Sylvia Lynn Hawkins, if you'd like to come up and speak about item 21, please.
Good morning, everybody, in Jesus' name. I would like to speak on item 21 concerning the voucher that was illegally taken from me to and they tried to take my phone. So then how can I win? I'm very concerned if I'm in the middle of running for District Number 9. I'm living in a shelter. Now they legally took it so I will not win District Number 9. Now I do not have a telephone. At the shelter, they take even mail. Now, just came back from Memphis, Tennessee. They are trying to stop the kids from getting out of their parents' mansion. Kids are tired of being whole and prostituted. Now we got illegal marriage going on in Laylow District, which the kids must have sex with their parents. Now they will not build single apartments that is affordable for them to get out their parents' house. Now this must be revealed to all. Jesus is God. Buddha is not real. We already went against priest boxes. We're not confessing our sins to no priest, nor are we going to a box or office. Catalyst is wrong. Jehovah's Witness is wrong. Now we're not giving up. I'm not giving up my calling.
10
because
seconds
you're
left.
trying your best, Eric and Bush, to put me out as though I'm done. No, you're trying to get rid of genius people.
Thank you, Ms. Hawkins.
Thank you
We
very
appreciate
much.
your testimony today. That closes public comment on this. If we can take up items 20 and 21 together. Is anybody wishing to be heard on item 41? If not, we'll consider public comment open and closed on that. If we can open the roll on item 41, please close the roll and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, that is approved. I believe that finishes our open session
Yes,
items.
Mr. President, do you wish to clear the desk before going into closed session?
Sure, let's go ahead and do that.
Council has motions for posting and referral,
Okay, they are posted and referred.
and there's an excuse on the desk. Councilmember Ludlow requests to be excused Friday, June.
Welcome back into open session, colleagues. Now,
The City of Los Angeles and William Bratton, and that's in the amount of $525,000.
okay, if we can open the roll. Please close the roll and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That settlement is approved as well. Next item.
And that clears the desk, Mr. President.
Okay, the desk is cleared. We've done all the housekeeping. Colleagues, any announcements? Announcements, colleagues? Mr. Reyes.
Thank you, Council President. There's one fact I left out when we were talking about Section 8. No, we voted for it already.
Park seat.
And tomorrow with Jan Perry in the Great Ninth District, Hope for Firefighters will be on Hope Street. It's a wonderful celebration where city teams, corporate teams, business teams have a fire muster, which is a festival on Hope Street to raise money for the Widows and Orphans Funds of the Los Angeles City Fire Department. It runs from 11 to 2, and there's food that they sell from the various firehouses, from booths, all to raise money for the Widows and Orphans.
Please rise for adjourning motions. If I can ask everybody to rise, please. Okay. Adjourning motions, Ms. Gruhl.
Mr. Villaraigosa has.
Mr. Villaraigosa.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President, members. I'd like to adjourn in memory of Father Juan Santillan, a dear friend who passed away on May 29th. He went to Santana Chiotempan, Tlaxcala, Mexico, where he made his novitiate with the Calazanian fathers. He later studied 3 years of philosophy at Alberta, Spain, and thereafter went to Rome, where he studied 4 years of theology at the Gregorian University as the first Mexican-American to be accepted to that university. Father Santillan has received work with youth throughout Los Angeles. Father Santillan was the vice chair of the board of directors of the East LA Health Task Force and a member and a chaplain of the Boyle Heights Chamber of Commerce. His smile, strength, and guidance will be missed throughout our city and indeed the world. Father John was a dear friend, and we'll miss him.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yorgosa. Ms. Gruhl on this? There's a lot of people motioning.
I think all members.
Okay.
Thought he was a little unorthodox, but he meant it from the heart, and he always spoke the truth, and we're really going to miss him. It's a real shame to have such a loss, a person with such dynamic energy that spoke so much truth. We're really going to miss him.
Mr. LaBonge.
Yeah, I just wanted to say he truly, as Ed spoke, a wonderful human being who was a great priest, which it's great to talk about great priest. For issues that are so important for the people. And he had a great love of Lincoln Heights, which was so important to hear when people love their neighborhood as a priest. So he's a great man, and he will be missed, and God rest his soul.
Thank you very much, Mr. LaBonge. Ms. Gruhl.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am here to adjourn in memory of Anne Arsenian. She's the maternal grandmother of our own Jody Yaxheimer. Daughter Pauline Yaxheimer, grandchildren Helen Arsenian, Ken Arsenian Jr., Christopher Yaxheimer, Jody Yaxheimer, and her husband, Dr. Mike Jorgensen. She had 3 great-grandchildren, Julianne, Robert, and Zachary, and also many nieces and nephews, great-nieces and nephews, and great-great-nieces and nephews. She was a dear woman and loved by so many and missed by all. Services were held yesterday at 10 a.m. at St. James.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and also with respect to the Santillan motion, special words of comfort, I'm sure, come from all of us to Eddie and to Lou. The first motion is in memory of Police Officer Donna Varela, who was born November 22nd, 1976 in Covina, California. She was appointed to the department on August the 3rd, 1998, assigned to the Central Division. She is survived by her father, Ezekiel, mother Grace, brother Ezekiel. Sons Brett and Derek, daughter Emily, father Richard, mother Barbara, brothers Lamar, Daniel, and Richard, and sisters Linda and Connie. And his service was held on June the 1st at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Corona, California.
Thank you very much. Any other adjourning motions? Colleagues, if just want to mark the passing of Ramona Trinidad Iglesias Jordan, the oldest human being on the face of the earth, who few weeks younger than her, who died just about a month ago as well. Coincidentally, the two women were the eldest of 11 children, were married but had no children. So that may be a recipe for long life. And if we can please call the roll, and we welcome the Pistons to Los Angeles this weekend. Thank you, colleagues, very much. This meeting is adjourned.
You are watching LA City View, Channel 35. Your city, your channel.